The slap echoed through the cathedral like a gunshot, my cheek exploding in white-hot pain as the crystal chandeliers above us trembled, casting fractured rainbows across the stunned faces of 300 guests. I stumbled back on the altar, my white silk gown whispering against the polished marble floor, the bouquet of white roses crushed in my fist, thorns piercing my palm until blood trickled warm and sticky down my fingers. Mark's hand hung mid-air, his face twisted in drunken fury, eyes bloodshot from the champagne flask he'd hidden in his tuxedo pocket. "You think you can embarrass me like that?" he snarled, voice slurring over the stunned silence, his breath reeking of bourbon and betrayal. The priest froze mid-blessing, the organist's final note dying into a horrified gasp. My world tilted, love, shattered in one vicious strike before God and everyone we knew. Fury ignited in my chest, a primal roar building behind my teeth, but I held it, tasting copper from where my lips split. In that frozen heartbeat, as horrified whispers rippled like wildfire through the pews, I straightened, blood smearing my veil, and smiled, a cold, lethal curve that promised hell. What I did next would burn him to ash. Denial crashed first, a tidal wave drowning the pain. This isn't happening. Not Mark. My Mark, who whispered forever under starlit sheets. We'd met 3 years ago at that rooftop gala. His laugh warm against my neck, promising the world. But now, humiliation seared deeper than the slap. My parents' tear-streaked faces in the front row, my best friend Lisa clutching her bouquet like a shield, Mark's smug family exchanging glances if she must have deserved it. Heartbreak clawed my throat. I'd poured my soul into this day, every detail perfect. The lace from my grandmother's wedding dress, the vows I'd handwritten at 3 a.m., dreaming of babies and beach houses. All for this. The guests shifted uneasily, the air thick with the scent of lilies and spilled champagne, the stained glass windows filtering crimson light like spilled blood. I touched my swelling cheek, the sting grounding me as resentment bloomed, dark and thorny. He'd been drinking more lately, snapping at small things. My promotion, my independence. Last week, I'd found texts from his coworker, flirty emojis hiding deeper sins. I'd confronted him this morning in the vestry, voice trembling. "Mark, those messages, who is she?" He'd laughed it off, breath already sour. "Jealous much, Elena? It's nothing. Don't ruin our day." But as we walked the aisle, his grip on my arm tightened like a vice, and when I whispered, "We need to talk after," the slap came, public, irreversible. Obsession flickered to life amid the chaos, a whisper of "make him pay." But guilt nipped at it. He was stressed from work we'd fought before. "Forgive him. It's your wedding." Moral conflict tore me. Walk away a victim or strike back and become the villain? Cold resolve hardened as I scanned the crowd, my fierce cousin Mia, eyes blazing. Mark's brother Tom, shifting uncomfortably. I stepped forward, microphone in hand from the dropped unity candle, voice steady despite the quake inside. "Ladies and gentlemen," I said, the words slicing the silence. "It seems my husband-to-be has shown his true colors. But don't worry, I'm about to show mine." Gasps rippled. Mark lunged. "Elena, shut up!" But the priest blocked him, murmuring scripture like a shield. Suspense coiled tight as I paused, letting their anticipation build, my heart thundering against my ribs. "Mark has a little secret," I continued, voice honeyed venom. "He's not just cheated on me. He's been laundering money through his firm. And I have proof." Subtle foreshadowing of what I'd uncovered last night, scrolling his phone while he snored. Emails to offshore accounts, skimming client funds for his mistress's apartment. The crowd erupted, murmurs to outright shouts. Mark's face drained white. "You lying bitch." But I held up my phone, projector already cued by Mia's quick fingers from the sound booth. The screen behind us lit up. Screenshots, timestamps, his signature. Humiliation mirrored back at him. Guests' phones already filming. His mother wailed, "Mark, no," while my father stood, pride swelling his chest. He charged again, but security, hired for the reception, pinned him. "Elena, please," he begged, voice cracking, eyes pleading the love we'd shared. Heartbreak twisted fresh. I loved you, but anger won. The wedding's off, I declared. And so is your freedom. I nodded to Tom, who'd quietly called the police en route. Sirens wailed distant, closing in. As officers cuffed him amid flashbulbs, I watched from the altar, the marble cold under my bare feet. Heels kicked off in the scuffle. Guests swarmed me with hugs, but inside doubt gnawed. Was this justice or destruction? He'd lose everything: job, freedom, family. Guilt flickered. He'd been my rock once, holding me through miscarriages. But fantasies of him rotting in a cell fueled me. The slow burn began. This was just the opening salvo. That night, in my childhood bedroom at my parents' house, the lace curtains billowing in the breeze, I wept into silk sheets still scented with his cologne. The cheek throbbed purple, a badge of war. Resentment festered as I replayed the texts. Can't wait to leave the ball and chain. Obsession took root. I'd dismantle his empire piece by piece. But fear whispered, what if he walks free? What if they blame me? Morning brought quiet calculation. Over coffee in the sun-drenched kitchen, steam curling like secrets, my mother squeezed my hand. You were magnificent, Mija. Father nodded, eyes steely. But he's got lawyers. We fight smart. I nodded, pulling out my laptop, the one I'd synced to his cloud. Files upon files. Falsified taxes, bribes to regulators. Hidden motive revealed. He'd targeted me for my family's construction firm, planning a merger to cover his tracks. Dialogue with Lisa over the phone crackled with tension. Girl, the video's viral, #slap heard round the world. But Elena, are you okay? No, I admitted, voice raw. I want him broken. Slow burn hints emerged. I emailed an anonymous tip to the FBI. Heart pounding as I hit send from a VPN. Doubt plagued, morally gray, exposing a man I once loved. But resolve solidified. At the reception turned support rally in our backyard. Fairy lights twinkling against dusk. Guests toasted my courage. Mark's sister approached, eyes downcast. He's always been weak. Gambling debt started it. I'm sorry. Layered complexity. She wasn't defending him, but pity humanized her plea. Help him get help. Tension heightened, I smiled tightly. Too late. Inside, conflict raged. Was I monster or avenger? Weeks blurred, suspense building like storm clouds. Court dates loomed. His bail denied amid headlines. I moved into our, my penthouse, the city skyline glittering mockingly through floor-to-ceiling windows. Every creak of the marble floors echoed his footsteps, gone. Nights I'd trace the slap's fading bruise, fantasies vivid. Him in orange, begging. But guilt surfaced in dreams. Our first dance, his tears at my bedside. A call shattered the calm. His lawyer, voice oily. Mrs. Vasquez, settle out of court. He'll plead to misdemeanor. Fuck that, I snapped, hanging up. Planning intensified. I leaked more to prosecutors, strategic drips eroding his defenses. Fear gripped during stakeouts at his mistress's apartment. Rain slicking my coat, watching her pack amid sobs. She didn't know. Moral gray, expose her too. The midpoint arrived at the preliminary hearing. Courtroom air stale with sweat and old paper. Mark, shackled, met my eyes. Pleading broken. Elena, I love you, he mouthed. Heartbreak lanced. Obsession wavered. But as his lies crumbled under cross-exam, cold resolve returned. I'd ruined his wedding day. Now his life. The gavel cracked like my final heartbeat, sentencing Mark to 12 years in federal prison, the courtroom's oak panels absorbing the echo as if swallowing his empire whole. I sat in the back row, veiled in oversized sunglasses, the leather seat creaking under me, tasting victory bitter as aspirin. Outside, paparazzi flashbulbs seared the overcast sky, rain pattering on the courthouse steps like tears he no longer shed. His mother collapsed into Tom's arms, wailing, "My boy!" While I slipped away, heels clicking on wet pavement, the penthouse key heavy in my pocket. Poetic justice, his assets frozen, mine by marital claim. But as I drove through slick streets, horns blaring in rush-hour fury, guilt uncoiled like smoke. 12 years. For us it was love once. Obsession had delivered, yet doubt festered. What had I become? Back home, the apartment gleamed sterile under recessed lights, his cologne lingering like a ghost in the king-sized bed. I stripped the sheets, the fabric whispering accusations, and burned them in the fireplace, flames dancing shadows across my tear-streaked face. Raw anger resurfaced. He slapped me, but layered with resentment for the years wasted. Inner thoughts churned brutally. Denials gone. Fantasies fulfilled. Now the void. Fear prickled. Retaliation from his shady associates. Hidden motives unraveled. I discovered his laundering tied to cartel contacts, a detail I'd withheld for leverage. Suspense simmered slow. Days turned to calculated strikes. At the firm, now mine via merger, I pored over ledgers in the glass-walled office, city hum vibrating through the floor. Coffee steamed bitter as I dialed his former partner, voice velvet over steel. Mr. Reynolds, Elena Vasquez. Marks. Indisposed. Care to discuss those off-book deals? He stammered. I don't know what you mean. Natural dialogue masked rage. Oh, but the emails say otherwise. Meet me. Or the FBI gets the rest. Tension built in the silence, his gulp audible. We met at a dimly lit bistro. Jazz saxophone weaving through clinking glasses, rain sheeting the windows. Reynolds, sweat beading on his brow, slid an envelope. $2 million hush money. Take it. End this. I pocketed it, smiling coldly. Consider it startup capital. Moral conflict gnawed, extortion. No justice. But guilt whispered. Mark's not the only criminal now. Obsession deepened. I tracked his mistress, Sarah, to a run-down motel neon vacancy, buzzing like my pulse. Knocking, the door creaked open to her tear-swollen eyes. Cheap perfume clashing with mildew. Elena. God, I'm so sorry. I stepped in, the thin carpet squishing underfoot. He slapped me for your sake. Her confession spilled. He'd promised divorce, funded her escape. Hidden motive, she was pregnant. Heartbreak twisted anew. Our baby dreams stolen. Keep it, I said, handing cash. But testify against him. Her nod sealed the gray alliance. Betrayer to avenger. Slow burn escalated. Anonymous posts on legal forums leaked his prison correspondence. Begging letters to me, now public fodder. Headlines screamed. Slapping groom's cell block confessions. His family's X account flooded with hate. I watched from afar, wine glass trembling, resolve cracking under guilt. He's suffering. Enough. A twist brewed in quiet calculation. Late-night emails from an unknown. We know what you did to Mark. Meet or we expose you. Fear iced my veins, his cartel ties. I met the shadow in a fog-shrouded park. Benches slick with dew, street lamps haloing his scarred face. Vasquez. Mark owed us. You took our cut. Dialogue dripped menace. Then take it from prison mail. He laughed gravelly. Nah. We want the firm. Or your pretty face on a slab. Suspense peaked. My hand slipping to the recorder in my purse. Moral gray. Play hero or survivor. I pressed send live feed to FBI. Sirens wailed. He bolted, but cuffs clicked soon after. Victory's high crashed into obsession's abyss. At the trial's end, Sarah testified. Her swollen belly a gut punch visual. Mark via video broke. Elena, forgive me. Slap. I was scared you'd leave. Layered complexity. His fear humanized, but too late. Judge added 10 years for cartel links. The payoff twisted viciously. Post-sentencing a letter arrived, his scrawl shaky. You won. But check the safe. Heart pounding, I cracked the penthouse safe. Deeds to beach houses, stocks, a note. All yours, love. Planned it. The slap. To push you away. Protect you from my mess. Marry again. Be happy. Shock hollowed me, betrayal inverted. He orchestrated his fall. Tears blurred ink. Guilt tsunami. I ruined an innocent. No, he was guilty but loved me still. Unexpected consequences. The firm thrived, but emptiness echoed. Sarah's baby. I adopted, naming her Hope. Mark's last appeal denied. He died in a prison fight, whispers of suicide. Poetic justice soured. His sacrifice freed me, but haunted forever. In my beach house, waves crashing like applause, I whispered to the stars. Someone had to be at the bottom. You chose it. Cold resolve melted to aching peace. Revenge's cost etched in scars deeper than any slap.